it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Much love going out to the empowered harmonizers, and we're zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question, and that is, why is the covert narcissist so passive? Why are they so retreating? Why are they so retiring? Why are they so sort of sunken in the background? Why do they tend to go away into their own little fantasy land, their own office, their basement, their garage, their car? Why do they disappear emotionally? Why do they emotionally check out all the time? And I would like to give you a kind of an understanding of why that is. And a lot of it might seem common sense, but there's also kind of a physiological or neurological reason why this is. And, you know, a lot of viewers also feel that the covert narcissist is, quote unquote, the most dangerous or the most hideous or beguiling of the narcissist personality disorders because it's so under the surface, it's so unseen. In other words, it's not what they do, it's what they don't do. It's not what they say, it's what they don't say. It's not how they treat you, it's how they don't treat you. So it's kind of like an abuse by deficit, or what they're really not doing or providing. And yet they can be very successful in isolated areas of their life. There are other areas of their life that are flagrantly abusive or exploitative of others, where they take advantage of others. And it's very sort of a covert parasitic way of living. Yet you don't see it with your eyes, yet you oftentimes feel it with your heart. And you feel it with your heart, and it sort of gets you into a fear or anxiety or uncomfortable state when you know there's something wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on it. You feel uncomfortable, so you try to overreact or over-obligate or over-give to this person in order to pacify the tension or anxiety that you feel as a deficit. In other words, you are trying to fill the hole. You are trying to fill the void. You are trying to fill the emptiness that is created in the tension with this person because of their passivity. In other words, passivity on their part creates a stress or a tension where you must be reactive. You must unconsciously be performing more or over-obligating or trying to take care of this unspoken or nonverbal need. In other words, there's a look in their face, there's a sulkiness in their body language, a broodingness in their nature, which makes those people, especially those people who are empathetic, want to respond, react, nurture, and take care of. But you end up then going and then kind of pivoting around their needs versus taking care of yourself. And yet there becomes a guilt or a feeling that you aren't, you can't just leave this person as they are. So you then begin to violate your own boundaries. You begin to reduce your standards, giving too much of yourself, your time, your energy, your money, your food, your concern, your worry then goes out the door while you're trying to take care of this person. And it is their passivity which promulgates this into motion. So it sets up that whole pattern into place. And as we've said here on the channel, that the body, mind, and spirit tend to perpetuate patterns. It tends to go into the familial. It tends to create an ABC, and then following that same pattern once again, it just falls into a rut or a groove. And so it's very important to understand the why of the passivity so you can kind of understand how it's created this hurt, this wound, or this scar within you. And realize that the passivity is a way for a covert way, meaning a very insidious way for the covert narcissist to gain power or control over others. In other words, when they go into a specific body language, where they kind of draw within, and they look like they are just assessing the situation, and you kind of see that there's this pondering or broodingness about them. And if you're watching this video and you get it, you can say, I get it. So one thing you will notice about the covert narcissist is that they tend to have a very kind of shut off, like their body, they might have an arms across their body like this, holding, and then they might have one hand up like this and just kind of maybe crossing their legs and kind of looking with a certain look in their eye as if they're thinking or contemplating or brooding, yet not saying anything. Or just, not looking at you, just walking by with a sort of assessing the scene, like they're thinking on top of their thinking, like there's a couple layers of thinking going on. And when you see that and think about that now, you might then, think, they're just thinking about something, and I'm giving them that space. So that is where part of the issue comes through, is that it's that excuse that you make, well, maybe I just need to give them some space. I should just let that continue. You don't know or realize that that is the covert narcissist way of getting into their manipulative mode. In other words, it is their thought or their manipulation where they're conjuring up reasons and excuses or just shutting down. In other words, getting away with being passive. It's not so much what they do, it's what they don't do. So it's not so much what they do, it's how they get away or manufacture either being silent, being very aloof, to get away with not doing what is required, the work that is involved, i.e. being responsible, respectful, accountable. They are getting off the hook when they enter into that kind of arms crossed, hand crossed mode, and they're just assessing the scene like, I'm just not going to lift a finger, I'm not going to bat an eye, I'm not going to be reactive or responsive to the needs that are required in the situation. I'm just going to kind of slither by and skate by and snake by so that I do not have to attend to. I will be in just a sort of a receiving mode. In other words, they are entering into that emotional refractory moment where they could say and do something, but they don't. They just sort of bottle it up, and it then creates a stress or a tension within others. So others then get to deal with the delight of the burden. They have to be, it is on their shoulders. The burden is then shifted to another person to guess, ask, inquire, how are you, what do you need? But furthermore, it's really insidious because it's concocted with this feeling of excuse, yet enabling. So you don't want to enable the covert narcissist to get away with all those, bottled up, where they kind of cross their legs and they look like they're just sort of, assessing the scene or surveying the scene. It's they're entering into that, how can I manipulate this situation to my best interest, not to the best interest of others? Do you see how that is the mindset that is built into the passivity of the covert narcissist? And they do that, they just lock it down again and again for their own best interest, but not for the best interest of others. So that's how then one gets caught up in enabling them to stay in that sort of regressed, infantile-like mode where they're not being held responsible or accountable for certain things, whether it's financial, whether it's behavioral, whether it's emotional or communicative. You'll find oftentimes that people who are in relationships tend to let them off the hook too easily, and that is the error. That is how one then self-inflicts damage onto themselves, is the enabling aspect. So it is then the calling forth and then moving them into action. It might be uncomfortable, but it's just, speaking up. It is addressing the issue and not allowing it just to get swept under the rug and, perpetuated again and again. It is asking for the respect. It is asking for the communication. It is asking for an open air versus a tense air. And if you have, dealt with that long enough, it's time to say no more. I'm living I am free, I am me, and just being independent and autonomous and self-governing, and not taking on all the tension and stress that tends to come with this covert narcissist type relationship and dynamic that can become perpetuated again and again. You need to change the pattern, interrupt the pattern, do something different so you can break free the tension, break it up a little bit, so you can breathe easier, and then do this without feeling guilty, without feeling remorse, without feeling regret, knowing that you're doing best for yourself and for this person by raising your standards and having and declaring that boundary. You absolutely positively need this to have a happy and healthy life and mindset. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.